Marine Weather University announces a new course, Weather Models 201, an advanced class on these ubiquitous tools of forecasters. Speaking of models, it's been a little quiet time at Marine Weather University for the educational classes, but Chris, we have a really great one coming up that you've are creating right now, which is right dead center in the subject that all of us sailors are so interested in, and that's all those weather models out there.
Yep. We're going to tackle a big subject. I'm quite frankly sick and tired of people asking me which is the best model. I've had enough.
That's me.
So, there are a lot of models out there, and it's confusing. So I'm going to try and bring some information to you on what all those different models are, but also maybe a little dose of reality and what's really important when we're talking about predicting the weather, and in particular models. So we've developed this 2-session course, and then there will also be sort of a group session afterwards where people can ask, where attendees can ask questions, and we can dive in a little bit more and hopefully answer some of those nagging questions that may still exist after the 2 sessions. We're going to do this in the middle of next month. There'll be two live sessions again, similar to what we did before, but they will all be recorded. So if you can't make the live session, you can watch them at your leisure online. Basically, what we're going to tackle is this problem of all these models. This doesn't include all of them. This is a list of global models that are available for us to look at. You can pull up, I think, pretty much all of these into, say, your favorite piece of navigation software in grid format and look at it and use it. There's just so many of them. How many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it was 15. Just right here. What is the difference between all of them? What are they all telling us? Some of them are, they're run by national weather services like NOAA, or a consortium like ECMWF, the Canadian Meteorological Service, Meteo France, etc. Some are run by private sector companies. The Spire model, the Predict Wind models. Some of them are run by defense departments. So there's, just a whole bunch of models out there that you can look at. This is not the complete list. I was just thinking about this today, and I go, I got to put some more models on that list. It's got the Korean model and the Japanese model, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes on and on. What's the difference between all of them? And that's not where it ends. It keeps going. Now that's the global problem. Now you've also got the regional problem. So every region you go to has more and more models that you're looking at. This is a short list for North America. These are the NOAA and Canadian models that we can look at. And then, you have the same thing going on in Europe, multiple models. Some of them are covering unique areas of Europe. Many of them overlap. They're all coming from different resources. What are the differences between all of these things? Which one should I look at? And that's a real problem. And I've come to this concept of, I've stolen a concept basically from social media. This is a book that I've really enjoyed reading called The Fear of Missing Out: Practical Decision Making in a World of Overwhelming Choice. And it talks about this problem where we have so many things now to choose from, and we're just constantly being bombarded with new things, and there's pressure, there's anxiety that arises. If you're racing from in the Transpac to Hawaii, you're sitting there looking at this list of global models that you can use and just pulling your hair out. Which one should I use? What if my chief competitor is using a different one and that's the correct one? And so you have this anxiety of all these models, and how do you manage all that information? And then there's another aspect to that, which is called FOBO, which is the fear of a better option. And so this is anxiety that, you're holding out for something better. And a lot of this times, this comes from sort of a cognitive bias. So you have a weather forecast, for example, that isn't necessarily favorable for you, but you're really hoping for something better. So you're looking for a different model, for example, that's going to give you a little bit better answer, maybe more of a downwind race instead of an upwind race. And this also comes from this overwhelming choice that you have. And so we have to figure out a way to deal with all this information. What should we look at? What's important? And that's what I hope to tackle here. So I'm going to do this in two parts. For the first class, we're going to talk about all those available models. I'm going to probably try and pare it down a little bit for you, make it a little bit less confusing. And what are the differences between the models? What are they really telling us with their differences? And where to best apply the models. And then also I'll talk a little bit about what's good practice. What is the right thing to do rather than just throwing a model into the mix? What's the correct thing to do? For example, a great example is you're coming up to a race and all of a sudden someone tells you about this model. You've never looked at it before in your life, but someone tells you about it and you have to look at it, right? Well, no, don't. If you've never used it before, you have no history with it, just ignore it. Just pretend it never existed. So that's a good practice there. If suddenly something new comes into the mix you've never used, don't apply it at the last minute, because your cognitive bias will tell you that that's going to be the thing. That's going to be the most important thing to look at because it's new and it's fresh and it's shiny. So we're going to talk a bit about that. And then part two, again, we're going to really attack this fear of missing out and the fear of a better option, how to deal with the anxiety of model application. And at the end of the day, my basic philosophy is that it's not so much that you get the forecast right. That's not necessarily the answer to this problem. Getting the decision right, the decision you make as a result of the forecast, that is what we're all trying to work toward. And so we're going to talk about how to make good decisions, understanding where the limitations are, not only in the modeling, but also in some of the tools that you use. So that's what we're hoping to address here in this course.
I get it. So it's a little bit of self-therapy for you, right?
Absolutely. I just have to get this out. I'm tired of answering the questions.
All right. Well, I can't wait for it. As you said, that it's going to be a live webinar. First 100 students that sign up will get in. I'm really looking forward to it. I know Chris is working hard on it, and he's right. How many models do I have on here? I get on a boat and there's dozens more on every smartphone and everybody else that's on the boat. This is his business. This is his life. He has to deal with models. So let's listen to him and learn not only the differences of the models, which we covered a bit, of course, in the Marine Weather University courses, what's out there now, what are the new and shiny ones, and how do we deal with this over population and growing population. So
it's a cold war of weather models out there.
Marine Weather University. Join us for our new class, Weather Models 201. Isn't it time you raised your weather IQ?